All right, it is a fresh day, a new day, and really it is the third day of the week. This is a Wednesday edition of the Kokoliriko show on West Nile Television. We are 19 minutes past 7 a.m. This is with me, I have Federick Dramadri, and we'll be sharing a lot of issues, stories, and many other exciting articles that are written international, national, and locally. And these are the things that we'll be really sharing with you. And for you who has just joined this show on West Nile TV, this is a show well packed for issue-based discussions, and we'll be really discussing a lot of issues that are happening, and also you will be engaged in this through the social media platforms, or you can even share with us through messages and so on. Many of the things that you feel you want to comment on them. But also, most importantly, if you can share with us where you're watching us from, we are very glad that we'll be able to share this with other people who are out there. Remember, this is the show that runs from 7 up to 9 a.m. And at 9, we'll be having the news in Lubarati that will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel, and you'll be able to listen to some of the stories that ran throughout the Nilecast. And those are the moments you'll be really getting what you missed. But also at the midday, you'll be having the news in Luruti, and that is the Lemangia that will be brought to you by Pisho Chake, and many other programs that are in the middle. And you have the Northern Request Hour, and you have Chikuchuku, you will have Sports New Roundup that will be coming at the usual time at around 2, and that is the programming generally, and many other things will be coming on your way, and you'll be able to get all those exciting moments at that time. And remember, there are so many districts that are now engaged into the budget consultative meetings, and you realize that this comes after the regional consultative meetings that were conducted by Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Local Government, and many other ministries that were really engaged into this. And remember, from the month of September up to around the start of October, ministries, departments were really so much into the issues of regional consultative conferences, and these were really geared towards improving a lot of issues to do with service delivery, looking at the gaps that exist, the unfunded priorities, and what is it that they needed to really increase the budget for. And that is geared towards consulting stakeholders on the 2024-2025 financial year that is coming up next. And remember, this in a financial year there are 3 quarters, and those are really divided into actually 4 quarters. That is divided into 3 months, and that is where really service delivery is felt. And for service delivery to be really smoothly, it needs all the stakeholders to add into their input, and that's what is described in a budget consultative meeting. And those are some of the issues that we'll really be looking at locally here. Yesterday there was the budget consultative meeting for Ivu Division. There are so many issues that came out from there, but one important issue that we picked that we'll be discussing with you is the issues of local government struggling to really raise local revenue, and that local generated revenue comes from the business persons and everyone who is here serving in the area of jurisdiction. And those are the moments when we pay, we'll be able to receive adequate service delivery. But also the councillors, the political wing, if you don't mobilize, you will not have those supplementary budgets, and those are key. And we'll be really diving into understanding what the situation looks like for Ivu Division that sat yesterday for their budget consultative meeting, and also other issues that came out from that. Remember, Yovan Edrico, the member of parliament for Vura constituency, yesterday was released upon payment of 32 million Ugandan shillings that was really left. But also, and remember, he was jailed for 6 months for not paying 52 million Ugandan shillings, and with charges it rose up to 58 million Ugandan shillings. But the member of parliament has been released, and upon payment of the 32 million, he is expected to offset the balance of 22 million Ugandan shillings within 2 weeks, and that is the effort of the advocate and a lawyer called Jimmy Madira, who has been there battling with the family to ensure that this member of parliament is released. We'll be discussing more of those stories later on in the subsequent hours. Remember the warnings by World Bank threatening really to withdraw funds from Uganda has continued to really generate more stories and more issues coming up. Remember, 2 days ago there was a warning issued by actually UN and World Bank that the implications of their withdrawal of funds will be on the businesses and many other enterprises, especially the private sector, will be really affected so much, and also departments in Uganda. And that is one thing that the government of Uganda has described as a laughable kind of statement that will not even have a pin on the businesses. And that is one moment we want to really dive into. But also away from Uganda, you have our neighbors, that is Rwanda, that is battling acute malnutrition. Remember, the situation of malnutrition in the country is ranked up to now 23%. This is really something that is alarming, and we have seen now the president of the country trying to bring out some campaigns geared towards reducing the cases to 20% by 2027. And those are some of the stories that we'll be really discussing with you here. What is your thought about them? What do you think can be done in order to really make sure that things improve? Okay, we want to see progress. We want to see progress, not really retardation. Progress in terms of achieving goals, in terms of looking at what we really intend to achieve. And those are some of the things we want to discuss with you here. For those who are watching us within Arua City, we say thank you very much, and we say really you are most welcome to this show. And this is the show that is well packed for you who is really concerned of developing a nation. Remember, you cannot develop a nation alone, if neither the president nor the heads of departments or the ministries, but it is a concerted effort from communities up to those you say to be at ministerial level. Remember, if you work together, we'll be able to really achieve some of these things. And also really looking at those who are watching us from Maracha, we say thank you. Koboko, Jumani, Moyo, and Yumbe. This is the Upper West Nile. Talk about Pakwach. Talk about those who are watching us from Nebi Municipality, Nebi District, and also talk about Zombo. These are the people who make us proud because really they contribute a lot in terms of improving services in Western region. The leaders of these districts are all working hard to ensure that there is a progress in the developments, and it's really the picture of West Nile is painted really to the taste of what we could be doing. And also looking at other issues that are happening, maybe a wrap-up of what is currently happening along Laropi Ferry. Remember, there was a huge lorry that really stripped off from the ferry, from the landings, actually from the ferry heading from Ajuman to Moyo district. And this is really something that was really unbelievable, and really it is so unfortunate that a lot of things really went deep down the river. Okay, that is the River Nile, and you realize that many advocacies have been really put to ensure that Laropi Ferry is turned to be a bridge, and this is because of the time wastage by the ferry, but also looking at some of the issues around the timing, okay, the timing by the ferry, but also the capacity the ferry is able to hold. Sometimes it takes long to really repair this ferry when it is down and shown. And many stakeholders felt that this should be really worked on by really putting a bridge, a standby, okay, a permanent bridge on this river to ensure that people are able to cross at any time of their business. And this is really one thing that many stakeholders have been advocating for, but UNRWA has not yet scheduled a date to really have or maybe has not featured it in their construction plans, because last month they released the plan, and in the number of roads that were really earmarked for construction, I did not see that being one of them. And these are some of the things that could really feature in these consultative budgets, and to ensure that really by 2024 at least something is done to either improve the services of the ferry or really to construct a permanent bridge for crossovers. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll really move to some of the issues that are at hand and really discuss some of them. Thanks for joining.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league. Go for it!
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we were discussing some of the issues that are happening within the region, and also giving you a highlight of the issues that we'll be discussing during the show. And one of the issues that I was still with it was the issues to do with the Laropi Bridge, okay, where really most of the groupings or social groupings, that is the Laropi Bridge advocacy, has been pushing for. Remember, there were a lot of issues around this which really dragged up to the opposition leaders, chief whips and so on, to come really to listen to the plights of the Madishab region people, but also some of the people within West Nile region at large. And this was due to the challenges associated with access to one or two of the districts. Remember, for the people from Nebi, Moyo, Pakwach, and you may talk about Obongi, to access the districts, the other side talk about Ajuman district. It is very hard, but also this been a shortest route to South Sudan. People felt like there should be really a bridge constructed to ensure that business flourishes and so on. These were some of the issues that were coming, and because of the challenges associated with the ferry, like sometimes when it breaks down, it takes a lot of time to really being repaired by Uganda National Roads Authority, and this affects businesses. It affects a lot of actual inconveniences, people's movements, and many times also when the ferry is supposed to travel or move from 6:30 up to 5 p.m. and From 5 p.m. beyond, you are not supposed to really access or cross to any of the districts. That means your journey might be put on hold. And those are some of the challenges that people have been pushing to ensure that there's a bridge constructed. And remember, when there's a bridge, at least the challenges of buying fuel for a ferry, doing all these expenses of repair and so on may not be occurring really concurrently or maybe rapidly for government to spend on annual basis, and that is one thing people have been advocating for. So it is yet something that is in the caucus of discussions in departments, in ministries, in wherever it is supposed to be really coming forth. And those are some of the things that really need a lot of discussions at national level. Remember, the trade between Uganda and South Sudan has really grown up, and this is looked at the economic status, and the ease of trade has been boosted by Uganda scooping a lot of exports from this side. Remember, Uganda is the biggest supplier of sugar to South Sudan and also rice, and these are some of the things that we can really not leave out if we want to engage in businesses to avoid like long crossings, and we should be able to minimize costs by establishing some of these structures like the bridges for business persons to easily access South Sudan, other than really moving to Kampala and using the airplanes and so on to really access South Sudan. But the shortest route through this Juman district and also some of the border districts like Lamo and so on could easily aid trade for us to really tap a lot of opportunities. Remember, South Sudan supplies majority of the fish, that is the tilapia type that comes from Red Sea, and also some parts of South Sudan that always comes to this part of northern Uganda, and that is coming from South Sudan. And that is the beauty of being at an international border. For you to boost such kind of businesses, such kind of interventions, such kind of business ventures, you should be able to invest into infrastructure. One part of the infrastructure that you can look at is the establishment of good road network. That is through maybe these bridges that you can establish on water bodies, but also if the ferry system is functioning very well, that is one of the plus you'll be able to add. And remember, when the South Sudanese cross this side of Uganda to do businesses, they are bringing foreign income, okay? They bring for you those monies that are charged. Talk about the licenses, a fee, but also a certification of their goods, and also many other things that will be talking about, the taxes that are levied. But also when Ugandans cross the other side, it is a benefit to South Sudan to also get some of these incentives or necessary charges that are paid. And this, with all this, the two nations will be able to really grow and really make sure that all of them are uplifted in terms of economical benefits. And this is the beauty that we'll be able to have. But also we have DRC on the western side, and this is one opportunity that Uganda has to take seriously. But also for those who are on the other side, maybe from South Sudan to cross to this side of Congo, they can easily access it through West Nile region. Instead of really moving to the central Equatorial state, you cross the other side and then come to Ituri province later on, which is a long distance. It is an easy pass through West Nile region, and that is what we could really describe as a very good trade relations if we are able to connect three countries in a row, and also have them really enjoy the beauty of Uganda being a landlocked country. This is where we could easily grow very fast. We have seen some countries like Sierra Leone who are growing very fast just because they have this kind of they are categorized under this kind of nature, like being a landlocked country, but because most of the countries come to transact businesses in such a small country, it is able to grow very fast. And economically, they are doing well. And these are some of the things we want really stakeholders to pick from there and really also be able to build from that. Let's move away from that and look at the stories around the Member of Parliament for Vura constituency. Remember, Jovan Edrico has been released from yesterday, and yesterday he was released to really go out and look for the balance of the money that he borrowed for within a space of 2 weeks that he should be able to really pay to the money lender, that is Jubilee Financial Institution, and that is one really thing that will be seen there. And remember, the MP was released upon filing an application through Madira and Company Advocate, who really tried with the sureties like the wife to the Member of Parliament, that is Frida Duaru, who all went to Arua High Court to really plead with the judges and say, no, we can really commit to do all it takes to ensure that this money is offsetted. And one of the things that has been put to ensure that in terms of commitments was in 2 weeks, this the balance of 22 million something should be able to be offsetted within these 2 weeks. But also as a part of security, Adiko Yovan has been able to really subject one piece of his land that is located in Oluko in Arua City to the court. Right now he has handed over the titles for the land and so on. All these have been really put there in case he's not able to fulfill within 2 weeks the 22 million. He will be able to lose that land immediately, and that's one of the conditions. And remember, this court was had at Arua High Court, and also the two parties agreed that he should be released, and that should be a warning to him, and also he should be able to respond with immediate effect within 2 weeks so that the money is recovered. If he doesn't pay and it is realized that the value of the money, actually the land, is not worth, he will be also really taken back to jail as the court continues to look for the market for the land to ensure that the money is recovered. And those are some of the issues that are coming there. Remember, Adiko Yovan has been really the member of, he's actually the member of parliament for Arua district, that is Vura constituency, but because Arua district has one constituency, that is the Vura constituency, he happens to be the male member of parliament for Arua district. And the colleague is Paparo Lilian, who is the woman member of parliament, but also there are so many issues that are around this story. Remember, Adiko Yovan has served actually jail for 12 days. This is after really a court ruling came shortly. This was after a long search of the member of parliament. Remember, at the time of the ruling to really give him the 6 months imprisonment, he was actually looked for quite a long period of time. And according to the statements that were really drawn there, you will realize that the member of parliament has been dodging phone calls from the money lender, but also looking at the emails that were sent to him were not responded to, but at some point he will dodge them by saying that he's in DRC when he's in Arua, but also that he's in parliament when he's in Arua. And those are some of the things that were coming out around this kind of thing. And remember, Jubilee Financial Institution really gave the member of parliament 15% interest on the loan that was borrowed to be 52 million Ugandan shillings in 2021, and this was supposed to be paid in 2 installments in a period of 1 month. And since 2021 up to this time, up to October 2023, he was in the hideouts, and this MP was really being searched for, and later on he was intercepted on a border heading from Odia to his home, and thereafter he was taken to direct to court, and that is after dodging so many summons. And that is one really think that a public figure could take as a same at a point, and because if you cannot really protect your image, if you cannot really look at some of the issues that are happening and can really not really guide against some of those kind of things, you really get those embarrassments. Remember, this kind of arrests come to be like embarrassments, come to be like something that is to reduce your dignity in your community, and that is really something every one of us should be able to learn from. And when you are getting loans, I earlier on told you that getting loans is at ease, but look at the terms and conditions. Some of these financial institutions are not lenient enough, but even if you've failed maybe to offset within the stipulated time, some of them are not understanding. They cannot really understand some of the situations. Look at that financial institution that is able to really provide you the guidance or that assistance. Even now, for instance, there's something or a calamity that has happened, they should be able to be flexible to adjust the loan period, reschedule them in case you are not able to meet the standards. For instance, now this one being a member of parliament is assured that he is able to get at least his monthly emoluments or salaries or entitlements, but what could be the issue that has made him not to offset this kind of loan? And those are some of the things as a financial institution should be able to interest yourself in, and also understand some of the issues that you can really work around them. But also this could be something that is driven political. You can check both sides and look at whether this was a deliberate move, whether this was some push from an opponent, or from 2021. Nobody could say this could be somebody who bewitched or who really went to maybe say bad things about the member of parliament that may ignited maybe the financial institution to drag him to court. Because if you look at that period from 2021, and yet this was during the COVID, if it will be understood by 2022, COVID was at least restrictions were really subsidized, and businesses came to normal. By then, we could expect that something be done to offset that loan within 2022. And now that it is 2023, the aspect of dodging calls and also emails, summons, and so on, it could be a proof of somebody not deliberately really be ready to pay such amounts of monies. And that's why the court had without mercy ruled against this member of parliament. And that is it. And he has been released. He is ready to now go to parliament and also sit with the colleagues at the parliament for deliberations and also represent the views of his people. But also, unfortunately, he lost the travel to Rwanda that he was supposed to go for, and these are some of the implications that he has. And also, the wife actually, that is Frida Duaro, explained that in the 12 days that the member of parliament was in jail, there were a lot of uncertainties. Many people were laughing at them, and there were a lot of things that many children were sent home because they were depending entirely on the member of parliament. Remember, most of these members of parliament have taken it upon themselves to really pay some of the children who are not really able to make it, especially the orphans and so on. Some of them have taken that charity of giving to such kind of children, and those are some of the children that were sent back home. And because of this, Jubilee Financial Institution and also the Arua High Court really understood the grounds and on which the application was made, and also looking at the sureties who were able to commit, and also the security that was put, they were verified and trusted and looked at to be valid to ensure that really this member of parliament comes out, is able to really work for the benefit of the children who are really dependents on him. And those were the grounds where the ruling was really passed. And within 2 weeks, we expect that this be complied with, and he is able to be freed. And once it is done, that will be really a very good move for him, but also to clean his name, and it will be of good importance as a public figure and also a leader of the people. Remember, Yovan Edrico was the LCT chairperson of Logiri sub-county, but also in 2021 general elections, he was able to really unseat the State Minister for Finance and General Duties, that is Honorable Gabriel Arzedra Ari Drew, who is an engineer but by profession, but also now he is now resting at home. And those are some of the things that are happening across Western region, and that one hot cake news that you will be able to see at the national scene. And those are some of the issues. And let's move away from the release of the Member of Parliament. Let's shift to Arua City, where Ivo Division is still struggling to raise the targets of local revenue that is generated here within the city. And remember, there were attempts to ensure that all local governments are able to use the IRS and the IRAS, okay, the Integrated Revenue Administration System. That is a technical kind of machine that makes sure that when even a business person can be able to pay the rent or the revenue that he or she is supposed to pay without engaging any of the technical officers from the city or district. And that is one thing that has made Ivo Division not to really move very fast, because there are debates around who is there to really bring the money, okay? Should we leave it to the machine for people to pay direct through the machine? Should we also go physical to go and collect? There are so many divergent opinions that have really made Ivo to drag behind. Remember, Ivo Division, since it's been created from Ivo County, that was by then under Arua District, now its amalgamation to Arua City created a lot of anxiety among the people, where some of the people are really said, no, we believe in district status than being in a city as a division. But also there are a section of them who believe that coming to a city is a very good move, and those are some of the issues that have really made Ivo to lag behind. Looking at last financial year, Ivo had set a target of collecting a revenue of 1 billion Ugandan shillings, but out of this, only 600 million Ugandan shillings was realized. And this is because some of the people, even the business persons, do not want to impress the Integrated Revenue Administration System to pay their revenues. But also look at some of the technocrats and political officers in Ivo Division still feel like going to collect revenue using the physical or the manual system, where you receive cash, you can easily pocket some of them, part of it, use it for transport and so on, is the best way. And that is where there are a lot of challenges in implementing this. This same thing was really practiced in Arua Central Division, and Arua Central Division now in a quarter now collects up to 1 billion Ugandan shillings, and that is one thing that has made them really to work upon the issues of garbage management, the issues of reorganization of the city center, and also many other services are now coming smoothly. And you realize that the challenges in Arua Central Division are becoming minimal, but looking at the attitude of the people in Ivo Division, you realize that many people believe that being in a district is the best. Okay, being in a district is the better one, and looking at many other revenues or revenue sources that are being outsourced or that have been really shown to the people that they should be able to pay, like the rental tax, the property tax, and so on. Many of these have not been really well received by the people, because the leaders have created limited space for the people to really get information. Because of that vacuum of information sharing, many people have not really embraced payment of property tax, and you realize that there are so many tensions. Many people are really rejecting to pay. Many technocrats have been attacked in the field and so on because of this kind of thing. Dialoguing with the communities about these new systems of administration have not been really up to date. Remember, Iv division comprises of 7 former sub-counties from Oluko up to Pajulu, and these are some of the issues that are making really the management of the division very, very difficult. Remember, it has 84 councillors from different wards, and these are really some of the huge gaps that really needed to be filled, and that's why some of the leaders are advocating for creation of more administrative units, and that is it. And you realize that Ivu generally has really faced these hiccups because of the management or the administration gaps. The management gaps, first of all, from the start of the city, you realize that there were a lot of petitions against Ivu being a division of its own. But also a number of people are saying Ivu East should be given another division, and people were appealing that they needed 3 divisions at the time of creation of Arua City, but this was not really well received by Ministry of Finance and also Ministry of Local Government, and that's why they were able to give 2 divisions and amalgamate all the 7 sub-counties to form one constituency, actually 2 constituencies, that is Ivu East and Ivu West, and also to form one division, that is Ivu division. And if you look at the member of parliament that come from Ivu division, you will have John Lematia, who is for Ivu West constituency, but also Geoffrey Feta for Ivu East constituency. Looking at the center of Ivu division, it is in Ivu West constituency, that is situated at Ondo Paraka Trading Center. That is where you will be able to really see where Ivu division is headquarters are located. And in terms of dissemination of resources or trying to share the resources, it is very difficult for them to split where some of the departments should sit and so on. They chose just to accommodate every departments at the headquarters. Remember, this is stemming from 7 sub-counties, and that's where really people still have challenges with accessing services. For instance, somebody from Riki, where bordering Terego district, has to travel long distances passing through 3 former sub-counties to reach the headquarters of Ivu division, and that takes a long period of time. You have to pass through even Arua Central division for you to reach Ivu division headquarters, and those are some of the issues that people are raising. Why is it that there is nothing like decentralization felt in this kind of arrangement? And those are some of the issues that are coming up. But for easy accessibility, for easy running of these services, it could be good to really also decentralize further. For instance, if in the recruitment slots, if there are avenues of having maybe 2 CDOs, 3 CDOs, you can spread others to some of the former division headquarters, because those are pertinent community-based facilitators who are there to interact with the community, not really to sit in the offices. So for them to really interact with the communities freely, to minimize costs of transport, to minimize costs of some of these kind of things they will need to really reach the communities, it is very, very important to really utilize some of the former sub-county headquarters. Remember, the former sub-county headquarters, the structures are just really rotting there, idle, and also becoming dilapidated, unutilized just there. And this is a wastage of resources that were really deployed by government. So we should be able to really move into this. And now that from yesterday's budget consultative conference, there were a lot of projections and a lot of discussions to what we should be able to do from here to ensure that people comply with revenue remittance, but also looking at the transparency that is exhibited, but also the adaptation of the integrated revenue administration system by all the technocrats and also political people, the politicians be preaching the same gospel of enhancing local revenue to ensure that there is a really smooth running of services in every division. We'll be coming back after this break to discuss more on this and look at what some of the leaders have been able to say in relation to really the struggles by IU division to hit the local revenue target. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
We are the passion you've been waiting for!
It's Yunus Junior Santamoon!
It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we were discussing the challenges around the management of administrative units. For instance, for IVU division, that's where we have centered our discussions really with you, and I want to hear from you also what you make of you are able to make of some of the issues that are shaping discussions this morning. Remember the issues of revenue, local revenue, collection is not an easy thing, because it encompasses a lot of energy to be deployed, but also techniques and also information sharing, because if you cannot, as a local government, account to the people who are paying these taxes, that is where you will tap it wrong, and that's where really people want service delivery enhanced. And talk about some of the utilities. Do we have the structures to collect all these local revenues? Let's first move to the production and understand from this town clerk whether they have better plans now to improve local revenue, and those are some of the things we'll be able to get. All right, let's move there. Okay, as we wait for that, remember the Ivory Division had 1 billion that they had planned to ensure that local revenue target of 1 billion is collected within the space of last financial year, that was 2022-2023 financial year. And now we are in 2023-2024 financial year. They did not really meet that target. And in that budget consultative conference, there are issues around people rejecting to pay local revenue because of poor methods of assessment. Okay, those are some of the issues. But also looking at the integrated revenue administration system, many of the technical officers are even influencing the taxpayers not to pay through that system, and they assume that it is very, very expensive. Let's move to the production department and see really whether we can be able to get that town clerk of Ivory Division on this situation, what they have been able to agree as stakeholders. Yes, let's move on.
Your name?
My name is Emmanuel. I'm the town clerk for Ivory Division. Today we just had our consultative budget meeting for financial year 2024-2025, where we engage with a number of stakeholders to give their input to the budget process of next financial year. We received indicative planning figures from the city, and we intend to collect local revenue about 1.2 billion. We also hopefully that we will receive unconditional grant of around 180 million, discretionary development grant of around 461 million, and also ex gratia for honorable councillors around 283 million, totaling to about 2.2 billion. So these are figures from the first budget policy circular, and hopefully there might be some changes in the second and the third. I'm glad that a number of stakeholders, including the private sector, the other development partners, the local NGOs, the academia, and Abizadri were here to give us their input. And this time around, we moved away from the sector-based planning approach to program-based planning approach, where we had a number of discussions from the various groups, and they were able to give us their input. So it has been generally fruitful discussions to inform our budget for next financial year.
Okay.
Right, those are some of the statements from the leaders of Ivory Division, and that is represented by Angudubu Emmanuel, who is the town clerk for Ivory Division. And remember, Ivory Division has really planned to also look for 1.2 billion for the next financial year, and that is what we are really talking about. Do we have all these proposals and we can't meet them? What is it that we can do as leaders to ensure that we collect these revenues? Remember, the revenue that is collected helps us to do additional budgeting. Okay, for instance, we have been able to collect an excess of 3 million. You'll be able to budget this in terms of your own priorities that you had not really been able to access the monies from government. For instance, if you had planned to give the councillors an allowance of 200,000 per sitting, you can easily increase it to 300,000 per sitting, and that comes back to motivation. Okay, it motivates you more to do more work and also really be able to deliver services effectively. But if you had also planned to maybe extend electricity or extend water sources, clean water sources to trading centers to ensure that the business persons are able to really tap clean water and also do a lot of businesses constantly, that is done through supplementary budget that comes because of the excess collection of local revenue, and that is the beauty that we'll be able to have as local governments. And you will understand clearly that for Ivu division, the issues are around political field, where people seem to really take everything to be like a political joke. When interventions are brought to improve service delivery, others look at it in a positive way, others look at it in a negative way. But the best thing you could do as an organization or an institution for you to improve on achieving your targets is having that unity, attitude and commitment to work. And those are some of the things you can deploy to ensure that you'll be able to achieve the targets. And how Arua Central Division was able to move further with the integrated revenue administration system was because of the commitment of the political leadership and the will by the technical persons to adapt to new changes. And remember, this central division was really spearheaded seriously by Dramadri Malik, who is now the current town clerk for central division. And this town clerk, once he stepped in to the office, and this town clerk of Ive Division, the current town clerk of Ive Division, was by then managing Arua Central Division. Once he was transferred to Ive, this current town clerk of Arua Central, that is Dramadri Malik, stepped in and picked on with the integrated revenue administration system. And one step he took was to engage the business communities and also other stakeholders to brief them on how this system is going to work, but also to ensure ensure that the business persons are able to buy the idea, because there was cases of people paying or doubly paying revenue. You pay to sometimes to a set of politicians, sometimes technocrats sneak in, and so on. Those are some of the issues, challenges that business persons were raising. So he actually gave a leeway for the business persons to also share with the technical persons, the heads of departments, the secretaries, to understand what it is, okay, without the IRS, what the challenges they were really facing, but also how the new technologies will be able to prevent some of those kind of issues. And it really made Arua Central Division to push its revenue from 380 million Ugandan shillings per quarter to 1 billion Ugandan shillings to really per quarter. And this is a great achievement, and that's why you see many times the Central Division sits for supplementary budget approvals, and you have seen that some of the councillors have started buying the used motorcycles. Those who were using bicycles to come for council sitting are now using motorcycles, are engaging themselves, and others have already bought some cars from the bond. And you realize that this is one good example that any local government can be able to learn from them, because if you cannot really look at the issues of local revenue enhancement a priority, there will be no way that the local economic agenda that we have in our settings, that the country is driving at, will not be achieved, because every local government is under this agenda expected to use the available resources to develop its local government and also ensure that service delivery is run, especially 90% of it is going to be decentralized. And decentralization means you will be able to use within the resources that you have. If you are able to collect only 1% of the local revenue target that you have, or if your budget is only financing 0.009% of your budget, that means your budget will definitely reduce. And those are some of the issues that are coming up, because donor support is dwindling. We have seen threats from World Bank that they are not going to support this country really anymore in terms of financing projects like construction projects, like improving social services and so on, many of these. And these are the things that government is taking forth. So as local governments, what are our priorities? What are those things we want to do to ensure that things work out and we are able to really move forward without any resistance? And those are things we need to really focus so much into. But also talk about Ivory Division generally, the issues of property, rent, taxes, the new things that people are battling, but also even paying rents or to acquire titles for land and so on. People really are still hesitant about these kind of things. Preaching divergent opinions will never help a nation, a region, a society to grow, and we need to really fight that kind of attitude that we have in local governments. If we are having bureaucracies, we will not really progress any further. We need to really step up those kind of terminologies. And remember, Ivory Division, if you look at Ivory Division generally, they are not going to really have so much infrastructure put according to the plan, and they have a lot of bigger markets that could generate local revenue, but these markets have not been developed. Talk about Ondoparaka market, which is the largest market, one of the largest markets in Ivory Division that we will talk about. This market has not been well constructed. It makes a collection of revenue very difficult, and this is one area that hosts national events like the ball games that are ever there. Uganda Premier League has ever been played there, but these opportunities have never been tapped by Ivory Division, and this is where really focus has to be turned, especially in developing infrastructure to collect the revenue that we want to collect. And talk about the market that is almost dying, that is the Otamachak market along the border with Democratic Republic of Congo. This is where Arua district used to generate billions of money every financial year from. And if you look at the status of the market right now, the market has almost shifted to DRC, and that is one thing we really need to look at, especially developing those development growth centers. Development growth centers are these areas that are able to really improve the economic status of a district or a city, that can be really prioritized to ensure that revenue is enhanced, to ensure that we look at service delivery in such areas to ensure that they are able to really cope up very fast, they are able to bring more revenue, they are able to develop very fast. And those are the development nodes that we have in Arua City. And also have other markets like the Manibe market that is just on the streets or on the highway between on the highway to Koboko, highway to Terego, and those are really markets that have not been really constructed very well. And there's another market that is in Airfield that is booming every time. And when you are heading to Koboko district, you will realize that on your right, from maybe adjacent to the airfield, that Arua airfield, that you are moving to Koboko, that's where you really see that the market is every day, and revenue collection is not up to date, because most times these markets are being just left to operate just like that, and there are no really measures put strictly to ensure that revenue collection is done, but also other revenue sources you may talk about that are still idle in Naive Division and tapped. I don't know what the councillors are discussing in their council sittings. They should be able to look at some of those ventures to ensure that they are able to tap a lot of revenues from those kind of things. Let's move away from that. There's another story that has just popped in, the story of 2 suspected homosexuals have been arrested in a saloon that is in Kampala metropolitan area, and this was yesterday, and this is really one thing that the laws of this country does not allow. For instance, once you are seen to be behaving like a homosexual, you are liable to really trials. Okay, they are you are bound to be scrutined. Okay, they want to see whether you have been really engaged into this act. But once you are found guilty, you will be able to really face the charges. And there are a lot of issues to do with anti-homosexuality law that we have in this country. Remember, this law has been there for quite a long period of time, not really taken really 4 or 5 months, but we saw it really coming back just a few months ago. And this law, once when it was really passed out, it brought a lot of panic among stakeholders, especially the international bodies. I talk about the World Bank, talk about many other non-governmental organizations. You remember the UN Human Rights Commission was able to opt out of Uganda just because they said that the life here was not good for them, because the law was passed and it had stringent measures, okay, deterrent punishments that were put in it. And those are some of the issues that are really coming up there. According to the Kampala North Metropolitan Police spokesperson, these people have been really put under the custody, are waiting for trials. And the people who were alleged to have been red-handed are suspected to have been doing sodomizing each other, and also in these saloons. And this is in Singiri, it is in Kisingiri cell, that is in Namirembe Paris, in Rubaga Division, that is in Kampala metropolitan area. And that's where really a lot of issues have been really done. The suspects are both 23 years old, who all of them are suspected around 23 years old, and this was really an issue that was reported around 20th of October at around 3 p.m. And according to the police spokesperson, that is Fred Nanka, these persons will be investigated and tried. Okay, once the evidences are leading to the investigation, actually the evidences are found right, they'll be taken to court for trial. And that is one thing that the police spokesperson has been emphasizing and has warned the members of public of those acts, okay, acts of same men sleeping in the same room, same women sleeping in the same room, okay, those kind of acts. He has warned people about them, but also looking at some of the issues around the unusual faces that you always see in the communities. People should be able to report some of those kind of issues. And remember, all of those who feel like they want to do those acts, they should be doing it away from Uganda. Uganda is not a country that is ready to really compromise on its laws. And much as we have been seeing many laws passed out, the implications are not seen in terms of implementation and enforcement. But with and homosexuality law, it has been proven that the country is seriously working on the implementation of the law, because it affects everyone. It affects every life of a Ugandan. It affects every aspect of the life. Talk about cultural, economic, and many other aspects like religion and so on, that many of the citizens believe that it was not really something that could be really right, or something that should be exercised in Uganda, because it derails the cultural values, it derails the religious values, it derails and other kind of life that everyone would really wish to. And also it's against the will of God. And remember, God really created everyone to in his own image, and this image was supposed to be multiplied by human beings of opposite sexes, not the same sexes. If it was the same sex, there would be no Eve once Adam was created. And those are some of the things Ugandans are not really in support of, and that's why you see a lot of threats, and you see a lot of intimidations from the foreign authorities, agencies, and organizations. But this has not shaken the head of state and also the citizens of Uganda. This is one thing that I would really be able to confirm to you here, that the suspects are undergoing investigations. They will be either subjected to court or released based on the evidences that will be really got by police to really get that kind of case proceeding or not to proceed. And the IRO will be able to look at some of those kind of things to really see that the case is either sanctioned or not. And those are the things that will be really bringing you more and more. And relatedly, talking about the anti-homosexuality law that we have in this country, I remember last week there were a lot of warnings issued by foreign agencies, especially the World Bank, threatening that business persons will be able to face the biggest challenge of World Bank withdrawing its support to Uganda because of the anti-homosexuality bill. But the head of state, when he was addressing people and also many other dignitaries, explained actually that it's a joking matter. When somebody says it will affect the businesses, it will affect the private sector and also the government, the entire government, it's something that is laughable. And that's one thing we should be able to look at. How are we trying to get ready to deal without the World Bank funding? Remember, World Bank fundings, majority of them have been loans, and these loans are really to be paid back. And that's one way World Bank was trying to trade with Uganda, and their businesses have been tailored towards infrastructure development and also ICT technology and so on, many other things to improve the livelihoods of the people. And if you look at the transformation of Uganda under the World Bank monies, they have been really immensely witnessed with up to $5 billion monies that have been already injected into projects that are in Uganda. And those are some of the things that World Bank was really trying to stress. And if you look at the anti-homosexuality law, it really moves ahead to pronounce itself on the issues of life imprisonment, the issues of death penalties that are incorporated into the law. And this is something that people, actually members of parliament, when they were arguing on the matters concerning the anti-homosexuality law, they actually stressed that it is a debate of life and death, and that's why almost 99% of the members of parliament were able to vote against the homosexuality that should be able to be practiced in Uganda. And those are some of the issues that we are really here to share with you. For those of you who have just joined us, you are watching the Kokoliriko show that is on West Nile Television on Weatherhead Park Lane here in Arua City. And we have discussed several issues, but we continue to share more. But you can go to YouTube channels and really share with us your concerns, your comments, and also your thoughts about some of the issues that we are sharing here. Remember, we are moving up to the hour of 9. That will be really bringing you more updates in the local language. That is Lugbarati by Fete Emmanuel, and also you'll be able to get more of this. If you have any other comments that you want to share on the topics that we're discussing here and the issues that we're having here, you should be able to move to the YouTube channel and text or comment there. We'll be able to project them here live on the show. But also, those it is also very important to know where you are watching us from. You should be able to share with us where you are watching us from, so that it keeps an eye for somebody to understand that, okay, so and so is watching us from this kind of place. And it's very, very important for you to also prove to others that you are watching the television. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to really move on with some of the issues that are at hand. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
We are the passion you've been waiting for!
It's Yunus Junior Santamu!
It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukube!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Commercial break. We are discussing so many issues to do with the anti-homosexuality law that we have in this country that is there to ensure that dignity is restored and also cultural values are maintained. And that's one thing that this law is emphasizing. But also looking at some of the aspects of human rights, that is why the country has gone ahead to put that law. And there are some other nations that have moved on and said that the homosexuality should continue in their territories. But for Uganda, we have said no, and that is where we have kept our stand as a nation. And if you come here and try to do your ill intentions and try to do something that is suspected to be of sodomy, for us, we will not really leave you out, and I will still take you to check what is happening in the cells. They tell us that the people who go there, they go to make chapati. So you make one of the chapatis in the cells, and you'll be able to come out when you are reformed, or the magnitude of the offense you'll be able to be charged of, and that's where really you'll be able to learn a lesson from. And we should be able to respect some of these laws that are made in a country, okay? Don't really come with your own intention and say, because I have ABCD, I'm going to give you sweets. if you don't give me the mandazi, I'm not going to give you the sweets. And those are some of the things in primary people used to say, if you give me the voice, I'll give you the mandazi. And those are things that the country is saying we reject those kind of offers because we really treasure the dignity, we treasure the cultural values, the religious values, the economic aspects of life that we have in this country. And where we want to go is where we want to achieve everything, because we are an independent nation, and for you to come with all that skills you have, it should be proven that it doesn't interfere with our dignity and the cultural values we have in this country. And those are some of the things we want to really talk about. I want to appreciate those who are watching us right now. We have the Majid Igama, who is saying, morning, thanks for the update, and I appreciate you for that. If you could type for me where you're watching us from, it would be a very good thing that will be really appreciating. And many others who have not yet done that, you should be able to really do it right away. We're still discussing the homosexuality law that we have in this country. Remember last week there were warnings by World Bank about the issues to do with why Uganda should continue to have those restrictions, and they were forcing the country to amend some of the clauses that are in the law that have been really passed. And the nation, led by His Excellency, the President of the country, that is Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, has said no to any amendments as of now. And because of that, many agencies that were trying to promote homosexuality have decided to opt out of the country, but also many were threatening to cut off aid to Uganda and many other aspects. And World Bank is one of them that has said, I'm not going to give my money again to you. And these were really monies that were really said to be loans and that are supposed to be paid back. And remember, World Bank USMID projects are ending by 30th of December 2023, and we're left with the last phase of the USMID programs, and this is where really activities of USMID and many other infrastructural developments have been really centered to local governments. If you want to construct any other additional facility, you should be able to ensure that the local revenue that is generated at your local government is increased. Okay, that is one aspect of raising funds to ensure that structures are put in place, and also looking at some other aspects of boosting the economy of the country. The country has moved away from supplying or exporting raw materials, but has ventured into value addition to increase income levels in the country. And this is one aspect that the government has really put to ensure that we are able to really tap a lot in terms of income, but also improve the structural and social service delivery that we have in the country. And that is one way Uganda is trying to move far away from that. In case we're able to really cope up with these terminologies that have been deployed, talk about the local economic development agenda that is geared up to 2040, that by 2040 we expect that all local governments are able to stand alone. They're able to develop using their own resources, and that's why we have so many engagements at local government levels with the central governments. And that's why at some point they are saying they're going to phase out some of these positions, like these ones of cows, these ones of commercial officers, just because they seem not to be really doing much in terms of mobilizing support. And that's why you saw cows, the chief administrative officer, not these ones which are animals kept in corrals, but these ones in offices called the chief administrative officers. We saw them already writing bitter messages in their platforms, saying that it will not be ethical, right? It will not be good not to have principles at local governments. And the name Chief Administrative Officer will be really changed, just like the names that have been changed for hospital directors now to senior administrative officers at regional referral hospitals, and those are some of the things that will be getting us changes in the local economic development agenda. That is really going to be there to ensure that people raise funds, people raise finances to ensure that the country is boosted. But also communities, we have a stake really to ensure that people who are really doing a lot of crackers, I mean a lot of dirty deals that are related to homosexuality and also other crimes that are of capital in nature. Talk about defilement, talk about mob actions that lead to death, sometimes armed robbery and so on. These have been stories that have been shaping the discussions in the nation, and these have been really some things that are affected so much things to do with coordination and so on. And we have a stake as community members to report. Reporting is one thing that will really streamline our working relations with these agencies that are able to really protect the rights of the people and also ensure that people really do well and better in their lifetime. Okay, if we are able to remove the weevils, we will be able to have the best beans to consume. But if we leave the weevils there, we'll have the worst taste of the beans that were boiled. Okay, those are some of the stories that I can be able to share with you. Away from Uganda, maybe before we go away from Uganda, there is already a story around HIV, okay, the injectable drugs for HIV. Government is already set to roll it out. And remember, there were issues to do with the injectable HIV drugs that have been produced that the country is already acquiring. And this is going to be rolled out to the public, and many people will be able to really get a glimpse of that. And for you to benefit from that, you should be an enrolled patient or a person living with HIV and AIDS that you have been really undergoing treatment for quite a long period of time. That's where you'll be able to qualify to start benefiting from that. And the injectable one is said to be a better option than really taking oral drugs. And those are some of the issues that are coming up there. But in case this comes, it is also like just like the tablets that it may take also a long period of time. It is not the cure, but it is the drug that is injected to prolong your lifetime. And experts have advised that people should still continue to use the caveras, I mean the condoms, as they are playing sex. If, for instance, you don't know the status of your partner, you should be able to really go and have tests done before you are able to really succumb to the disease, okay? You are not infected. Those are some of the things you should be able to take in the positive, okay? I know sex is something that is very enjoyable. Many people admire it, but we need to take precaution. Life matters. Life matters. Life is the key that you should be able to take it upon yourself, because once you lose your life, that's the end of you, and all that benefits that a country or a community is able to get from you, they will be able to miss it. And that's why many times in the Lubara culture, when somebody dies, people cry because they know the value you have in a society, the value you have in a community. And if you go with that value, with that benefit that you have for the community, many times really people cry, people feel like they have missed someone, and that's what really how it feels. Okay, so for you to keep your life prolonged, and also people understand that they are able to benefit from you, you should be able to first care about your life. Your health is very, very important. But also it's not only HIV that we should be able to really run to check our blood off. There are so many other sexual transmitted diseases, but also there are other diseases that are not sexual transmitted. They are there in our bodies. Talk about the diabetes, the hypertensions, and so on, many others that we have, that we need to take full responsibility of our bodies. You have people who are battling chronic headache, and also many other stomach pains and so on, backache and so on. Sometimes people take it slightly that this is just a mere headache. Why can't you go for work and so on? These are some of the things that can really in the long run drag you to death. Okay, it can take you to death, and really people really always face challenges with that. At a final stage, when you are not really able to move, that's when you are already, your white blood cells are already weakened. You can't really do anything, even if how much effort the health workers put or the organizations put to rescue you, you might not be saved. But it is earlier to, better to really go and have tests done. Many times when people have headache and maybe they feel fever, they first rush to go and check typhoid, and others rush for malaria. And there are some diseases that also show up like this, using the same signs, but they are there. So we should be having general body checkup to ensure that we are able to test for any other disease that comes our way. Okay, it's very, very important to really prevent and really to waste a lot of money in terms of really going for curation. Those are some of the things that we should be able to understand as people who are dealing or who are still moving. I don't think everyone who is walking is safe from any sickness. All of us are sick, but the magnitude of the sickness also varies. But also the way your body is able to fight such a disease is also is variable. Those are some of the things we should be able to get it right. But also once this is rolled out, we should be able to really impress it. For instance, for the clients who are already enrolled, it's easier for you to upgrade from oral to injectable HIV drugs, and that is where you'll be able to move away from that. And away from Uganda, let's move to our neighbors, that is Rwanda. Authorities in Rwanda, especially the government, is battling acute malnutrition that is really invading the country. Remember, malnutrition is as a result of poor feeding. Poor feeding in a sense that if you don't have balanced diet, if you don't have meals consumed in the right time, that is one thing you should be able to expect of someone. The person presents with the protruding stomach as if a child is pregnant. You see the stomach is protruding. The umbilical cord that was inside comes out because the valves are all full of energy to really produce a lot of gas. And you realize that for children, they present with the yellowish of hair. The hairs look gray, not gray, but many times people say, when you say gray hair, it is the white one. So we will say yellowish, okay? The hair turns to be yellowish, the skin color turns from dark or from black to somehow brown. Okay, somebody looks like is turning to be gray or yellow or orange and so on. It depends on your skin texture, color and so on. And you realize that there's standard growth witnessed across the population, and those are some of the things. And remember, the malnutrition contribution in the country has really risen up to 23%. That is as of 2023 report, the midterm report in Rwanda. That is what is coming up now. Paul Kagame, the president of the country, has said they are now engaging all the departments, agencies and ministries to ensure that everything is decentralized, and interventions are geared towards a campaign that is said to be the National Strategic Development Plan. That is a tray of the country and 3, 4, 5 of the country that they are trying to ensure that there's increased production of food. There is also increased campaign awareness created about malnutrition, and in Instagate by 2027 the country should be able to reduce the malnutrition status to 20%, and that's what the president has communicated. And these are some of the issues that we were talking about. I told you earlier on that malnutrition is not a disease of communicable nature. Like maybe if I have I'm suffering from poor feeding, my colleague or my neighbor will be also able to get be malnutrited. It's not like that. It is about the feeding status of the people. That means people are going hungry. Many people are going hungry in Rwanda, and that's one thing we should be able to understand. And if interventions are brought by maybe heads of states, we expect that at community levels this is done at equal ventures, and there should be a regional balance, because this malnutrition affects everyone, not really zeroing at the capital city, that is Kigali, but also let's spread it outside, because many people feel like going to the gardens is one difficult moment they should not be really engaging themselves into, but it is very, very important. And this story came yesterday in the evening, and we feel like we should be able to say it with you and really understand how other nations are also running their issues. What is it that some countries are moving throughout and really seeing that. And he said clearly that all agencies that are doing livelihood interventions in the country will really turn their focus towards rescuing the population, because in an abrupt event, the country cannot really do much in increasing food security, but in the meantime, they are rallying out the masses towards some campaigns to fight against poverty, hunger, and many other issues that could tackle malnutrition. And that is it that we had prepared for you for the Wednesday edition of the Kokoliriko show that we have here on West Nile Television. My name is Federick Dramadri, and up next we'll be having the news in Lugbarati that will be brought to you by Feta Emmanuel. And if you are watching the screens, you should be able to see how the man looks like. He's very gentle and just as somebody who is composed, who can really narrate for you those stories in the local language, that is Lugbarati. And after this, we'll be having that news. And also the one behind the camera is Dijon Pro, who is there really showing you how I look like. By the way, that's the beauty you have here at West Nile Television. And the one behind the writings and all those things you see on the screen is Aldo, who is the producer, and he has shown me other things that I may not mention. And once you want to meet him, you should be able to come to West Nile TV and see how composed this stuff, how humble they are, how creative they are. You should be able to admire those kind of things. And if you are somebody who is looking for where West Nile TV is located, that is just Weatherhead Park Lane, plot number 39A in Arua City, and that's where you'll be able to get West Nile TV. I'm out of the studios. Thank you.